Here we go!
Why, hello there, people. How's it going?
Hello.
It's been some time.
A long time.
Too long, but
Too long.
here we are, back together again, reunited, and it feels so good. Okay.
We're here today to talk about something that's sort of new, kind of new, but frustrating. The dreaded DLC. Some people think it's a good thing. Some people think it's a horrible thing created by companies to get more money out of games. That's my opinion on things. I think before we get into it,
Podcast
that's it. Game over. We're going to talk about it for a bit. Share our ideas and opinions about this because it's something that I feel very, very heavy about, and hopefully
it's something that always pops up. Like no matter what game you're playing nowadays, DLC is always something that gets circled around in everyone's head. Like, buy the game, you're like, oh, is there going to be a DLC? When's it going to be a DLC? How much is it going to cost? What's going to be in it? Like, all these things just floating around nowadays. That's the way gaming seems to be. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What's the first...
Well, the first thing you're talking about, what is DLC? In case someone who doesn't know what DLC is, it stands for downloadable content. Yep. So, essentially, you buy a game, and then a couple weeks down the line, they'll release something for the game that you would buy again so you can play that content in the game you bought before. I don't know who did it first, and I take a wild guess, probably like a sports franchise, maybe Call of Duty, map
Call
packs.
of Duty, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know where it started, but it seems like every single game these days come with DLC sometime in the near future. Mm-hmm. We're going to start off by speaking about Jesus, I don't even know.
Wherever you wanted to go to, bro. What do you think needs to be pinpointed out here?
Okay, let's start with this. Something that Paul will understand. Paul is a huge Street Fighter fan. How many Street Fighter 4s have there been since the first one was released?
At least
4?
3.
3?
Well, 4 including. It's like Street Fighter 4.
Yep, Super Street Fighter 4.
Then Arcade Edition, and then Ultra Street Fighter 4.
4. Even before all those were released, I believe on the very first one, there was DLC for certain characters, I can't remember.
Maybe.
But regardless, whatever, the DLC that you bought was already on the disc, meaning that like the content was on the disc but was locked behind a paywall, they call it. So you have to pay more money to get the same content in the game that you already own, which to me is A, lazy for game developers, and B, not fair for consumers.
I don't mean to take the pen and bust your bubble there.
Bubble.
I believe that was Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Okay, well,
that did that. Regardless, Street Fighter game,
a Capcom game.
Yeah,
we'll boil it down to Capcom.
There you go. Yeah, like I mean, even like iterations for like Street Fighter 4 games like that getting re-releases, that's like in itself a crime enough to a degree, especially like between like Super Street Fighter 4 and Arcade Edition, because Super Street Fighter 4, they added enough that it's like, okay, this is an expansion of it, but then Arcade Edition only added like a handful of characters, barely, and like some new mode, and then like they charged us like $40 as like a separate thing, and it's like, no way. But definitely, yeah, Street Fighter Cross Tekken is when they had like the whole disc lock DLC. Like everything was already there that you purchased. You purchased the item, it's yours, but you can't have everything that's there until you give more money, and it's just, that definitely rubbed a lot of people the wrong way for sure. It's like very bad practice. And yeah, it's I don't know. It just it was kind of stupid. That definitely, when I definitely found out about that, it definitely deterred me from even thinking about buying that game.
And it's just not like one company, because I think we probably said Capcom 3 or 4 times. It's not just them who does it. It's EA is very well known for doing it.
Oh yeah.
Especially with their like sports games. Like I'm a huge NHL fan, and like you have like small in-game purchases where you can buy like they're called Ultimate Team Packs. So that's for hockey, Madden, FIFA. Mortal Kombat just came out. You can buy the Combat Pass for $30, and it gets you all for the characters that are coming out, which I believe they are on disc. I could be wrong. I shouldn't have said that because I'm not entirely sure, but they might be on the disc. What other games came out recently? Obviously, every year there's the season pass for Call of Duty, the season pass for Battlefield. I can go on and on and on and on and on. Which kind of brings me to the next point of like additional purchases on games. And in my opinion, the negative effect on the gaming industry is the dreaded. I hate to say this, 'cause I kind of feel like a trader in some way, but the pre-order bonuses you get when you reserve certain games. I work at a video game store. I don't know if I'm allowed. I probably said it, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say where I work. It's probably fairly easy to know.
Insert video game store.
Insert video game store. Other video game stores are available. And obviously they make me push, you know, pre-order this and you get this for like an incentive. Like when you pre-order Mortal Kombat, you got Goro for free. And the only way to get Goro is either pay for him. And someone told me, I don't know if this is true, someone told me he's $20. I highly doubt he's 20. I doubt it. It might. Someone told me. I don't know. And then in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the only way to get Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and like 2 special suits is to pre-order the game. So you can't even like buy Vegeta if you really wanted them, and you can't buy these suits if you really wanted them. They're a pre-order bonus. And in a way, not fair.
No,
because it's just not. Because like different locations have different pre-order bonuses, so you can't enjoy the full game because each company has a small thing you can't play as or with because it's pre-order bonus.
The one thing I noticed though is that like if a game sort of hit its stride and they're getting ready to move on to like the next installment for like that particular series and they have like a pre-order bonus, they'll make it available then, like when it becomes the least relevant and they want to try and squeeze out that last bit of money out of you.
Do you have an example?
It's just I notice things where it's like, oh, this is a pre-order bonus, but you think that you missed your chance. Like Soul Calibur 4.
Damn. Okay.
Like, okay, well, that one wasn't even so much pre-order bonus. That was actually like system locked bonus. You know, like how Vader was an exclusive for PlayStation 3, and then Yoda was an exclusive for Xbox 360. And it's like, okay, well, this is cool. I guess, you know, you're only gonna have one or the other. But then, like, sometime down the road, it's just like, oh, well, you could pay us this much, and then you could get this one character, which, you know, ain't a huge deal. But I just think that's kind of funny and strange how they like decide, oh, now we'll do it, rather than just giving you like a full experience, I guess. I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah. I don't know. That was my little that was my quick thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's just to me the video game industry is going in a way where the games they make I don't want to say unfinished, but you buy a not finished game and with promises of buy this $15-$20 like DLC pack and then the game will be fully complete. So like back in the day, 1998, you're a kid, you go out, you buy an N64 game, you buy a Sony PlayStation game, you're paying $40-$50 for a new game around there?
Something like that.
But it was a full game. You bought Mario Party. You have all the mini games. You have everything that you can unlock progressively, I guess. Say you buy Mega Man Legends. All the gates are available to you. All the the sub bosses, everything. Now say, I guess like you buy Mortal Kombat. Oh, I can't wait to play as Goro, the forearm. No, you can't. Unless you spend an additional, like, whatever, $2 to $5. Or if you're lucky to pre-order it, you would get it for free. Or like, oh, I can't wait to, hey, Paul, I just bought, a game. Do you want to play with me? Sure, Mark!
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
yeah.
you can't, because it's one player. This doesn't really make any sense, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Oh, Mark, are you alright?
I need a second.
You're gonna need to calm down?
Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap up the DLC pre-order bonus, because we've been ragging on it, and yeah, I do think it's a bad thing, but there's some things that, like, some games do right with DLC. I guess Mortal Kombat does it. I know WWE does it. See with WWE. It's a wrestling game. Do you really want to play like all the modes, unlock all the secret wrestlers and all these secret attires and whatever? Well, like, I guess you could if you wanted to, or you can like it was $2 and you can unlock everything in the game, which to me doesn't seem that big of a big deal because it's not like a single very competitive game where like so I did that. For $2 I unlocked everything of all the secret characters, blah 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 blah. So when me and Paul play, we have all these choices, and which isn't a bad idea. Mortal Kombat does that as well. I think for like $5 you can, or maybe no, it's for $20 you can. You can unlock everything, all the secret fatalities, the extra skins, concept art. Everything, which to me, like I said, that's not that big of a deal. It's not hindering the gameplay at all. It'd be different, say, if you bought like an adventure game. I can't think of one on top of my head. Say you bought Xenoblade. That's what it's called, right?
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah. And you for like $20, you could the credits roll. You're losing $40 because you paid an extra money just to whatever. But hopefully you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, you could definitely segue that into like just talking about like the whole concept of DLC. Period. How much like everything has changed. When you're talking about like, you go ahead, you buy a 64 game, and everything like that, and everything is like before, like in our time during that time. Everything was like earned. We felt like all the stuff that we got was something that we earned, rather than we already bought the game. Let's just enjoy the whole experience as a game. And like, I didn't have a problem with like working for my things because I earned that. It was me. I did all that. Like the only way you could even like get like everything instantly was like cheat codes that someone would post up there and everything like that. But now it's like companies are realizing that, and now they're like warping it in a way where it's like, you just give us this money and we'll just give it to you right off the bat. But you gotta be like, I think companies, it just depends really, like as far as like what DLC is worth it, because like I'm sort of like I wouldn't say I'm on the fence, but I'm definitely like, there's definitely moments where I feel torn about DLC, because I'm not going to like shell any more money into a game unless I really feel like it's worth it. And I don't want to have to feel like a company is shortchanging me just to squeeze out more money out of me, which, as we were going to say, it definitely seems to be a trend that has been starting. Like, we're
being
like
taken advantage of.
Like, the thing is, like, I think the term you're looking for those unfinished games was more or less just like rushed games.
Yeah.
Either they're rushed or unpolished, or just they're not like, they don't feel, and they're not like a complete game, but they meet the due date, they meet the time where everyone's expecting it, but then like when they play the game and turn it around, it's like, oh well, this is complete bull crap. Let me think of an example.
Don't wait, guys. There's going to be a 2.0 patch coming out. I can think of two games off the top of my head. The first one is the Diablo 3 when it was first released. Many people hated the game for like the real time or the real money auction house. Dad, no. The real money auction house. I forgot what it's called. Inferno mode was too hard. Whatever. Mm-hmm. So it took like a year and a half of like patches and stuff, but they took out the real money auction house. They completely changed the game. So that's one. The second one I can think of is the NHL series, which is the game first came out for the next gen of Xbox One and the PS4. There were so many modes missing that people were very upset, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, guys. There's going to be like an October patch." And it like added 3 things. But after those 3 things, they're like, "Oh, the game's finished." Ha.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I think I could. I might have to look into it, but there's a couple games I could think of that I've heard that like as soon as they were like launched, they were just completely broken. Like
Halo Master Chief Collection. When you can think for a second. I'll finish my thought. The Master Chief Collection, when it was released, the servers were being like not bombarded, but so many people wanted to play, the servers couldn't keep up with it. So like even like 2 weeks after the game was released, people still couldn't play online matches. They would wait for like 30 minutes to enter a room. I forget who makes not 434 anymore. Whoever makes the game, like, oh, don't worry, guys. Like, we have a patch coming out. When the patch came out, and people were still experiencing some of those problems. Another game I can think of is, I know when Titanfall first came out, the servers were being bombarded. It's not really like an unfinished game, though. It's just they weren't expecting, I guess, so many things to happen online, and their servers couldn't take it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like say the games because I'm not sure if they actually got fixed by like a downloadable patch like that you paid for. One of those was being if you just want to like talk about unfinished rushed games, Battlefield 4 I know was very broken when it first came up, and you know,
good one. Yep.
I don't remember if it was a DLC that fixed it or not, but I do know it was a rushed game. Assassin's Creed Unity.
Nice, yes.
That was also another one that's notorious for being rushed. Again, I never played either one of those games, honestly, because one, I don't do too many shooter games except for a few Black Ops games here and there, and then 2, I never really did get into the Assassin's Creed series just because I never got into the Assassin's Creed series. So I really don't know if there was DLC fixes for those 2, but I do know that those 2 games were terrible.
Yeah,
when they first came out.
I know Ubisoft, for an apology, they gave out the season pass for free to people who bought Assassin's Creed, which I guess was pretty cool. EA gave out an experience chest or a battle chest. I forget what they're called. Like, oh, sorry guys, we suck. Very, very 2 great points. Which kind of all this leads up to, I guess, what we're talking about right now is I brought up kind of half-heartedly the pre-order. Because they hype up games so much, like Master Chief Collection, you need to own it when it comes out. Battlefield, the new Battlefront game was released last week in Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 3. Reserve it, but EA is like, well, it's going to be an online-only pretty much game. There's no space battles. So at least they're being upfront what they're taking out of the games. But I feel like as consumers, this sounds very hipster and like anti-authority. If we don't pre-order games and they sell bad, maybe companies will get the point, like, oh, maybe we can't make shitty games. And
I don't know if that would sound hipster. That's a consumerist idea, you know? That was the whole reason, like, why I even, like, started, like, banning companies. Like, for the longest time, I would not buy a single Capcom game because of, like, these crazy practices right here. And that's just, like, one company in general. I mean, I never really cared too much for EA to begin with, and I know they're notorious, like, microtransactions and things like that. But, you know, don't feel bad about feeling that, dude, because it's like,
thanks,
as people who buy the game, we want to get our full, we want to feel like everything we paid for is like, you know, fulfilling. You know, we're paying for an experience. We don't want to have to keep shelling out more to keep that experience going. You know, I just remembered another game that, I think I'm gonna move on to like DLCs that are like really stupid. You know, like I remember hearing that that one game, Asura's Wrath.
Okay, yeah.
The ending for that game, you had to buy it. Like the ending of the whole game. It's like you pay your game, you're gonna beat right to it, but then there's like that last bit, and you have to pay more for it, and it's like, why? Why would you do that? You know, like, what if the game sucked? You know, I don't know personally. I never played it, but you know, what if this game actually turned out being a bomb, and you're all like, oh, people are gonna like this so much that they'll buy the ending for X amount of dollars, and it's like, it just perplexes me. Like, why would you even think that's a good idea? You know, I don't know. It just I don't know. It just really comes down to the issue of what you think is really worth paying for, as well as like purchasing your game. You know.
So before you pre-order stuff, make sure you know exactly what you're getting. That's all I'm saying. But to wrap this all up, we've been taking a dump on a lot of these things. Is there any DLC packs or maybe pre-order bonuses or anything that you, or like games that you think did it right? I can think of kind of one. I can think of two at the top of my head.
Go ahead.
The first one is this new Super Smash Brothers. They're giving out Mewtwo for free if you registered the games for both systems through the Nintendo Club, which I think is genius. Nintendo's not very known for DLC, so like this is kind of big. It's big for them, and I give them props. The second one, I know, The Witcher 3, which comes out in May. All their DLC is going to be free, which is amazing. Witcher 3 is getting great reviews, or previews, I should say. So those two, at the top of my head,
Monster Hunter,
nice.
Monster Hunter 3 and 4 Ultimate both had free DLC.
As a Capcom game too,
and it's Capcom.
Holy crap!
I know, how nuts is that? Like, that was the game that broke the streak.
Yeah, wow,
that's Monster
crazy.
Hunter. But I don't know. Is that really Capcom, or is that just that specific team?
Yeah, it might just be that team.
I don't know.
Is there anything else you can think of, like good?
I don't know. I mean, if I could give like a final thought on
thought,
it's like
Paul's final thought.
You know,
take care of yourself and each other.
I don't know. Like, it really just balances out to like what your interests are and what you really consider fair. You know, DLC. Like, I think fair DLC is just something that really gives your bang for your buck. You know. I haven't played it, and I keep forgetting about it. I want to try it, but like the DLC for BioShock Infinite, you know, on the surface I could see that as like being, you know, worth it enough because it's a whole new experience that you're paying for. You know, it's almost essentially another game, I guess. You know, anything like that could actually just heighten the experience or make a new experience to expand on what's already there. That's, I think, DLC that's worth it. You know, I don't want to have to feel like I have to pay to get the complete experience that I've already tried paying for the first time around. That to me is like really, and like pointless DLC, you know, just like freaking Black Ops 2, like the first one is like, oh, you could pay to get this one gun. And I'm like, why would I even shell out for like one gun that's like not going to change anything for it? Like, I'm still going to have playing the exact same game, you know.
Actually, there was a camo that people who work at a certain video game store got for free. And my buddy still plays Black Ops 2 every so often. And people come up to, like, will message him, like, oh my god, how did you get that? Because, like, people can sell that skin for, like, $50 online. For camo. For camo!
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
Ridiculous. Redonkulous.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's what we want to talk about. It's kind of, this is long enough, yeah. Do you guys have any, I don't know, suggestions? What games maybe we should play? Do you have any games that you feel like the DLC sucked for, or DLC that was so good and worth buying it?
Do you think that we're both complete idiots?
Well, don't answer that, but yeah, we are. So you can answer.
Just put everything on the comments. We like to hear some feedback.
Hopefully we're not alone in this. That being said, My name's Mark.
My name is Paul.
See you guys later.
See ya.